What's up, guys? What's going on? How y'all doing? I don't know who's all up in here yet, but today, or tonight, I should say, I want to talk about Batman. Yeah, Batman. So recently, I watched the Batman 89 movie. I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but it's a really good portrayal on Batman. It's really close to the comics. And although it came out like 30 some years ago, the acting is phenomenal in that movie, and Jack Nicholson is like the most amazing Joker. Don't get me wrong, Heath Ledger, great Joker. But the difference, man, this is a very deep topic. So I'm going to tread as light as I can without getting too deep because I will be here for hours on end. I could literally make a whole video on the different Batman series and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if you're a Batman fan or anything like that. And to be honest, like it's kind of, like for me, it's kind of chilled out over the years. I used to be like a pretty enormous Batman fan, but because I watched that recently, like watched the first one, I just had to. I felt compelled to talk about Batman, and I really wanted to talk about. I mean, just well, I can't cover everything. Like I said, it would take very long. But I wanted to talk about how amazing that first movie is. And just like, you may not even know all these actors. It depends on like when you were born. I don't know how old you are. But Michael Keaton as Batman was so good. Like, just the costume itself, like, his acting was amazing, but like just the way the costume looked too, everything was super dark. Like Tim Burton directed it, and Tim Burton is a goat. And just like everything that they did watching it now, like some people say that it doesn't hold up, like it hasn't aged well. And I do see what they're saying, but at the same time, it's so like gothic, and there's no other Batman movie out there that has the gothic feel like the Batman movie from 1989. Some of you may have not even seen it before. I don't know. But the movie is like incredible for one. It's completely different storyline from the one with like the Dark Knight with Heath Ledger's, like that whole setup. That was more of a realistic approach. And this one, he's like dropped in a vat of chemicals. It's very cartoonish. It's very on the line of like the cartoon series. So if you liked the cartoon series of Batman, if you watched it when you were a kid, you will definitely like the live action one from the one that came out in 89. I know it came out forever ago, but I'm telling you right now, if you have not seen that movie, go watch it. It's just called Batman, but everybody calls it Batman 89 because there's so many Batman movies out now. So, but I'm telling you, if you don't know who Jack Nicholson is, which I don't know how you wouldn't, but if you were unaware of who that is and his acting, go watch some of his movies. But also, he's just a phenomenal Joker. Everything that he does, I like that he was very dark, but the contrast was very different from his Joker compared to Heath Ledger's. And you really can't compare Jokers because there's different timelines, there's different Jokers that they're following. And like I said, he follows more the comic style Joker. So he's got, the crazy laugh going on, and there's like really dark undertones with what he's like. Everything's a joke. I mean, literally everything. I mean, like, this Joker enjoys killing people. And I'm not saying the other Jokers don't. Well, Joaquin's Phoenix Joker, he only kills but what, 1, 2 people? At least in the first one. I didn't see the second one. Not because of the musical thing, but that did have a lot to do with it, because I just like, at that point in time, I was like, I don't really know if I want to go see a musical, but I'm not against it, as I think theater work is great, especially if you want to get into acting, and that's a whole nother realm. But But nothing against it, but yeah, I just didn't see it at that time. But yeah, you can't really compare them. And like I said, like there's avenues for each movie. If I were to talk about each movie right now and talk about like Heath Ledger's Joker compared to like Jack Nicholson's Joker, then I would be here all friggin' night because there's just so much to talk about. But I will say that their personalities, right? Like Heath Ledger did an amazing job, especially with like the whole licking thing, like the all the time. I thought that was kind of crazy, the fact that he did that. And if you don't know, the reason why he did that is because can't even talk. The adhesive kept coming off, so he had to lick it so it would stay on. But yeah, I mean his approach obviously was more like, I'm just gonna play insane, which is not a bad thing at all. But I really like the fact that Jack Nicholson's Joker really kept the element of, I'll do serious things, but I'm gonna make you laugh. I'm gonna make sure everything, like I'm really gonna treat it like how the Joker is, like how the cartoon Joker is. And that's what I really liked about it. But not that anybody's asking me, but I do think The Dark Knight, I do think Heath Ledger's Joker is amazing. Like I said, it's a whole other avenue that to go down. I'm mainly just talking about Batman 89 right now and like the whole scheme, like the whole shebang of what it is. I will touch on this though. When it comes to The Dark Knight, I like Christian Bale as an actor. I think he's a tremendous actor. I didn't really like the Batman that he portrayed. Like I really didn't like the overdoing of the voice. Like I felt like he was kind of trying too hard when it came to that. But I think he's a fabulous actor. I just don't know if I would have, if I were in his shoes, if I would have gone that route and like did that. It was kind of like this forceful, it was just very forceful. And I know I'm not the only person, because there's memes like about it that still circulate today, pretty much making fun of how he portrayed Batman. But no, I mean, he's a great actor and everything. But yeah, steering the ship back to Batman 89, I just wanted to touch on that. Just go watch it if you haven't seen it. Like I said, he gets dropped in a vat of chemicals. His skin turns white. So, like the white face paint that you see in the movie, it's supposed to be portrayed as his actual skin. And so if you have seen it, you notice that he puts like cover up on when he's trying to look normal or whatever. Which actually, fun fact, was a grease paint that they put over top so that the minute water would touch it, it would like dissolve and you'd see his white face. Which I thought was pretty clever. And you got to think about at the time that movie came out, like the late 80s, like right at the cusp of like, you know, the ending of the 80s into the 90s. That was a very clever move for them to do that. Not only did it expose the white face paint, especially when that scene happens, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, Vicky Vale throws water in his face, and it's like one of the most legendary scenes because he does like the Wicked Witch. He grabs his face, he's like, I'm melting, oh, I'm melting. And he's like, you know, dressed in purple, how he, you know, how Joker dresses. And then he turns around and he's like, boo. And he like does this crazy laugh, and then Batman breaks through the ceiling and saves the day pretty much. But it's just so cool how like that effect, like throwing the water in his face and you see like the white kind of bleeding through. It's like on his ear a little bit, like streak through his face. I'm telling you right now, go watch that movie. If you haven't seen it in a while or you haven't seen it at all, I'm telling you right now, the movie is fire. It's a very, very good movie. And again, I'll touch on this. As far as it like aging well, I guess it doesn't age that great in terms of like technicality when it comes to like Batman. But let's be honest, there's so many different realities when it comes to like X-Men and DC Comics that they coexist. They're just like different realities. You know what I mean? That's how it's always been. It's always been that way. So it allows somebody else to come in and to portray a character, you know, to give a different interpretation. So that's all. That's just Hollywood in general. You know what I mean? Like, how many times are they gonna remake? Like, how many times do they do like Transformers? You know what I mean? How many DC movies are there now? How many X-Men movies are there? Like, this is what Hollywood does. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I mean, look. I mean, already we have so many Batman movies. We have Batman '89 Returns, which Michael Keaton did both of those. Then you have Batman Forever, which was Val Kilmer. Then you have the one after, which I can't remember right now what the name was, but that was George Clooney. And then after that one was Christian Bale. And so you see how many there are. I do gotta say though, I was pleasantly surprised. I am kind of steering the ship away from Batman '89, but I was pleasantly surprised how good, what's his name? Pattinson. What is his first name? Twilight. Anyway, if anybody wants to tell me his name, cool. Right now, I can't think of his first name. I'll talk to you guys in a second here. But he did a tremendous job being the Batman. I like the take on it. Something about it was very grungy. Maybe it was the fact that like they were using like Nirvana, like the soundtrack was really good. But I do like the way that he looks in it. It's different. It's vastly different from all the other takes. And I'm excited to see the sequel because I can't remember this guy's name, but the guy that's gonna play Joker, the 5 minutes that he was in that movie, he made for an amazing Joker, and it just got me so stoked to watch it. He just seemed so, like the laugh, the teeth, like the way that he looked and everything. Of course, we didn't really get a good shot, but we got enough to know that like something crazy's happening. Something crazy's, you know, coming together. So I'm looking forward to that. It's supposed to come out in 2027, I believe fall of 2027. I could be wrong, but I think like October 2027. No, but seriously, if you have not seen Batman '89, go watch that movie. Again, I know it came out a while ago, but it's amazing. And I'll talk more about it, but I am from Brazil. That's what's up. Oh, I'm Matt. Check out, well, Matt is the creator. But check out the channel. A lot of my content is revolved around storytelling, but it's adventurous. You have other elements, so check it out. Consider subscribing. How am I? I'm pretty good. I'm working right now. Can't complain. I'm actually at a Wawa, if you know what that is, if you live on the East Coast. If anybody in here is from the East Coast, I'm at a Wawa right now. I just got some dinner. And yeah, that's what I have here. I wouldn't really call yogurt dinner, but what I like to do is I'll buy a couple of these because they're like $1.30, and then I'll get some Uncrustables because it's like 2 for $3, so you can't go wrong with that. Is it dinner food? No, but what is dinner food really? Look, I'll be honest, I like eating healthy and everything, hence the yogurt, but I'll eat cereal for dinner. I do not care. Speaking of cereal, I love cereal. Fun fact about me. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. What else do I like? God damn, fuzzy. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. What else? I like Reese's Puffs. They're good. I don't know. I could go on. From India. That's what's up. What's it like living in India? Have you always lived there? Your name is Bruno. How you doing, Bruno? What's good? Anybody in here that is discovering me now on the live, go check out my channel. And I say that because there's something for everybody, I feel like, on my channel. Yeah, you're not gonna get like an unboxing video and then maybe like, I don't know, like some freaking whatever you want to call it. I don't know, just something so far out. But you're gonna get like entertaining, adventurous stories or just something along those lines that kind of like speak volumes to. It's a more mainstream niche that I cover. I think that about suits what my channel is without going so much into detail. I think that's kind of enough to explain. What do we got here? YouTube football. What do you mean by YouTube football? Hello. How are you all doing? Let me see how much time I got. I think I'm still good. All right. Are you saying that you watch football on YouTube? I'm just trying to figure out what you mean by that. What is good? All right, no, okay. I was stopping to answer some of you guys or respond back to some of you guys. But yeah, let's talk about Batman a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, that was really what kind of kicked it off for me and got me wanting to talk about it. I'd watched it 2 nights ago. I watched it on Thanksgiving. And it had been a while since I'd seen it. And I just thought to myself, all this time has passed. And even though I've seen it, like, I've seen the movie a lot. But it is still such an amazing movie. And like the music in it, and just like all the actors and everything. But to like give more of a rundown, I don't know, like if this is like, you know, I'm gonna say this now. I kind of said it earlier, but spoiler alert, because I'm gonna talk about, I'm not gonna really talk and go into like depth with the scenes here, but like, so in the cartoon or whatever, well, there's different variations. So, but like the classic dropped in the vat of chemicals, like I said earlier, and then it's his face turning white. And I think what I also liked about it is that there was that element of curiosity that they put in there, because right when that happens, you see his hand come out of the chemicals, and like already you know it's like distorted, like it did something to him. And like some of the best classic movies of our time, or the ones before us, always had some type of like monster or something like that. And I think that's also what I liked about it. But soon after that happens, he goes to a plastic surgeon, and he's in a basement. It's dark. You just see the camera is pointed at him like from behind. So you just see that his head is like wrapped in gauze, and he's like quickly trying to peel off the gauze so he can like breathe or whatever. And it's like an old school surgeon setup. The dude's got like all of these like things on a table. You can see like some blood and stuff. And he's like, he hands him the mirror. He's like, give me the mirror. And he grabs this mirror, this like shanky little mirror, and he's like showing himself. And the minute he sees it, he kind of pauses and like dips down, and he's not really saying anything. And the guy's like, you have to understand, like, the nerves in your face were severed. I couldn't really do much. And just out of nowhere, he starts laughing. And it's just like this contagious, like, laugh that just sounds so psychotic. And he's just laughing his ass off. And then he just takes the mirror and, like, breaks it. And then once he smashes it down, he gets up. He's still laughing. You don't see him. You see, there's still no reveal. And, like, the best horror movies are like that. Because, in a way, the movie's kind of like a horror movie. And that's also what I liked about it. It was so dark. But yeah, he gets up. The light breaks. Because there's like one light in the center. It breaks. Why do squirrels swim on their back to keep their nuts dry? I don't know. I'll answer that in a second. But anyway, so the light breaks. And you just see the shadow. And he's walking up the stairs. He's still laughing or whatever. And they hold it until he has his first kill. And it's basically the dude that set him up. So I don't want to like fill everything in because I'll be here till like tomorrow talking about it. Because like I said, talking about this goes very deep. I could talk about the first Batman film compared to like the one that Heath Ledger was in, compared to the one that how do you say his name? Joaquin Phoenix. And the Batman, there's just so much. It's, you know what I mean? Like, you could really say a lot. But I just wanted to touch on some things. Well, I was trying to finish what I was saying. That's all. I wasn't trying to say that I wasn't trying to, like, respond to your... I don't know if you're talking to me. Just like this. Oh. Yeah, I was just trying to finish what I was saying. Funny. Clever. Who is this? Yo. Yo. Yeah, my fault. I didn't mean to ruin your joke. I just was in the middle of talking, so my bad. But no, it is pretty funny. It is. Remember that squirrel? What was it like? I don't know if it's like real or not, but there was like a clip that was kind of going around where it was like a squirrel that was skiing. That might just be from a movie, but I swore that happened in real life. Anyway, no, but yeah, that's really what I wanted to talk about. I was just talking about how amazing that movie is, and even though it came out forever ago, it's an amazing movie. You gotta check it out. See, like, I really don't 33. I really don't have that much more time, so that's the thing about this, like, because I'm working right now, I can't really take all the time I want. Like, I could, but the whole purpose of me being out here and working is so that I can make money, you know? But I did want to hop on here for a minute and talk about that. The whole movie is good through and through. I'll touch on a couple more things before I leave, or before I end this. And maybe some of you don't care about it, but I care, and that's the whole reason why I started the live, was to talk about it, being that I'm talking about different things when I go live. So after all that happens, the big reveal, like I said, not to get so much into detail, but he gets set up basically, and he gets chosen, Jack Nicholson. His character gets chosen to go to Access Chemicals, and can't remember the guy's name right now, but the lieutenant, not lieutenant, but Jack Palance, I'm just gonna go by his real name. He calls to have him set up. He realizes it, of course, as soon as the mob gets there, and they discover that all the valuables have been taken out of there. So they're basically watching the back. The police come, It's an all out, like, you know, pretty much like war on drugs happening. Um, and they, you know, they fight it out. You know, it's cops against bad guys, and that's when Joker is involved with it. But he's not Joker yet, and that's when that happens. But yeah, that dude gets massacred by Joker, and that's when you first see him. Because after that point that he had been set up, you know, he survives after the chemical thing. Well, becomes a mutant, whatever you want to call it. And then you know, he pays Jack Palance a visit, and that's like the big reveal when you see Joker. But yeah, like I said, I could go on, but I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that. Who is your favorite Joker? Like, if you do like DC Comics, or if you do like Batman at all, like that whole saga, like, who is your favorite? And who is your favorite Batman? I'm saying Michael Keaton for me, because he didn't try. He didn't like put on this like accent to try and be like cooler, I guess. Not cooler, but scary. Like, he just didn't have to do that. And his costume was just epic. Like, sure, he couldn't turn his head. He had to move his whole body. But that was like the whole Batman turn. And it became so iconic, you know? So that's what I appreciate about it. It's the little things. And just look at that suit. It was just incredible. But I gotta get back to work, guys. I'll do a live later. I'll talk about something else. Or we can talk more about this. This is kind of like, you know, I don't think at this point that I need to keep saying it, but I guess I'll say a few more times. This has kind of been a thing where I've been going live every day. So I think I'm probably gonna go live every day of December. I don't know. I just figured that out, that I would do that. Like the other day, I was just like, yeah, why not? You know what I mean? Just kind of like, it was just the idea that I had. So I think it's something that I'm gonna do every day of December until I get bored. We'll see what happens.